Unfortunately, that wish did not come true. Americans in uniform are answering the call once again, fighting the war on terror in Iraq, Afghanistan, Syria, Somalia, Yemen, and of course in harm's way around the globe. Andrew Brennan, an Army helicopter pilot in Afghanistan, says just like the boys of World War II, Vietnam, and Korea, those who have fought deserve a place to honor the sacrifice made by their fellow service members in the war on terror. Andrew, we'll get to the idea of a war on terror memorial in a minute, but I first want to get your thought on this, coming off what President Reagan said. It used to be that GIs went overseas, they fought a war, they came home to peace. Now we are 16 years into the war on terror, and it seems, if anything, to be intensifying.
Sure. The paradigm for war has really shifted over the last 16 years, and it makes it very challenging when you start talking about, how do we adequately pay tribute to the sacrifices that our service members and their families have made over a 16-year conflict that there is no sight, no end in sight for.
I'm always touched. Tomorrow we'll be out at Arlington for Memorial Day, and I'm always touched by the juxtaposition between so many Americans out enjoying the unofficial start to summer and other Americans whose family members have paid the ultimate cost spending that weekend in a cemetery, for lack of a better term. Where's the balance? Where should Americans find the right balance between saying thank you and celebrating the freedoms that people like you fought for?
I mean, obviously, we want everybody to, enjoy the long weekend and things like that. But, taking time to remember the folks that have served and again, the families as well. I mean, that's one thing that I think a lot of times gets overlooked is that, we will have many people at Arlington this weekend that are there, marking individual headstones for individual service members. But the real impactful places that you see here on the National Mall are actually the war memorials. That's the collective places here where it brings together not just veterans of those conflicts and their families, but the civilian population, which we've had this divide grow as well in this country over the course of the last 16 years between civilian population and military. And these memorials are very much a common ground to kind of bring folks together.
Well, they're a common ground also to sort of explain to the younger generation. I still remember my first trip with my father to the Vietnam War Memorial and sort of what it meant and how it suddenly became a little bit more real as a young man. Now we're looking at the Korean Memorial there. This is poignant on a Memorial Day weekend. We have a picture here of Specialist Murphy of the 75th Ranger Battalion who died just this week inside Syria. A vehicle rolled over on him there. He joined a couple of years ago, but he was born in 1995. That meant he was 6 years old when 9/11 happened. Probably barely even remembered where he was that day. Yet he signed up. And now when it comes to building a memorial for him and for others who died in the war on terror, it's a very different challenge than what those who tried to build a World War II memorial and a Vietnam memorial faced.
There are some challenges. They're able to be mitigated, though, and currently we have a bill in the House of Representatives, H.R. 873, and in the Senate, which is Senate Bill 926, that helps fix some of those problems. There was a law written in 1986 called the Commemorative Works Act, and it stipulated that a war memorial could not be built for 10 years until the official end of hostilities of a war or conflict. And again, with that shifting paradigm of war with continuous conflict, we've met the historic burden at this point where we can look back and say that this war has been significant enough in the course of U.S. history to warrant a permanent place on the National Mall. So these two bills authorize building the memorial, and they allow our foundation to move forward in the process of finding a site and location.
All right, we've got the website up on the screen right now. Very quickly, has the White House weighed in? House and Senate currently considering the bill?
The House has 92 co-sponsors, the Senate has 14, and the White House has not, although we have reached out. So we're hopeful that they will put out a position piece on that here shortly.
We know the President will be at Arlington on Monday. We'll see if he says anything about it. Andrew, thanks for your service, and then continuing to try to honor those who you didn't bring back. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Liam.
Thanks.